Hey, real quick before we get started, KC Green is a really amazing comic artist. I really love his work, and he's the creator of the This Is Fine meme. You might have heard of it. And he is finally looking to take this very famous creation and turn it into a video game. So they have a Kickstarter, and it ends in like 2 days at the time of this recording, and they still need some help to get it over the finish line. So if you enjoy this meme and video games based on memes or any of the above, please do consider donating. On with the video. It is apparently a common misconception that someone from Monolith Soft once said Xenoblade Chronicles X would never come to Switch because it would just be too technically difficult. Now, I will completely admit, I got caught up in the skewed information. I remember those headlines. I remember hearing that. And I remember thinking it was ridiculous. What do you mean it's too hard? It's just, you do it. You know what I mean? I mean, like, sure, like some games are going to be easier than others, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. Here's the thing, though. This was an interview with Tetsuya Takahashi, Monolith Soft executive director, and he didn't say they couldn't do it because it was too hard. What he was saying, apparently, was that yes, it would be hard, and therefore it wasn't likely to happen because when things are hard, that's not the problem. The problem is that when they're hard, they're also expensive. It just means that if they don't think the game is going to sell enough copies, then it's not worth it to do any extra work at all on the game. Because, like, Xenoblade X was something of a technical marvel on the Wii U. It looked way better than I think it had any right to. It was a very big world. It was a very impressive title. And they were just saying the way that they developed it for the Wii U, it would be hard to translate over. And so, yeah, it makes sense. If it would take too many extra resources to put it on Switch, then of course that would be something of a roadblock. Because of his words, we didn't know if we would ever get Xenoblade Chronicles X on Switch. I mean, on paper, it's perfect. All the other Xenoblade games are on Switch, and it's just, you know, it's another game. It's another Wii U title. Almost every single major Wii U title has made its way to Switch. So, why not Xenoblade? And you know what? It seems Nintendo agreed. Why not Xenoblade Chronicles X? It really was next in line. They seem to be just dedicated to bringing them all over at this point. What's left? It's like Yoshi's Woolly World, which went to 3DS, and it's like Twilight Princess Wind Waker. It's like basically it. Anyway, though, talking about X, Nintendo just kind of out of the blue announced that a Switch remaster, actually, of Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming next year. It is. It's just happening now. It's just kind of like, all right, there it is. March. It's coming. See, because here's something that we maybe didn't consider, and that maybe even Mr. Takahashi didn't consider. Xenoblade and Kirby fans get everything they want. That's it. It's a rule. I mean, I guess you know, hindsight is 2020. Looking back at the Switch generation, we can just see it now. They get everything. They get everything they want. Now, I just can't even believe it. Every single Xenoblade Chronicles game is gonna be on Switch. A single generation, 2 new titles, and 2 remasters. And not only that, all of the extra stuff too. 2 and 3 getting like humongous DLC. The first one getting like restored story content. And now apparently X, you know, it is coming with graphical enhancements, but it is also coming with additional story content. I don't believe we know quite at the time quite what that involves. We don't know if it's going to be like a whole humongous extra chunk of the game or something, but at the very least, there are going to be new story elements. Now, here's the thing to consider, though. It's like we definitely don't want to get our hopes up, because from what I hear, you know, I haven't played the game, I haven't played any of the games, but I hear everyone talking about it, and the general consensus seems to be that in terms of like gameplay, you know, RPG progression, the world exploration and the world building and everything, it's a very good game. It's just a lot lighter on the story. It doesn't have, because, you know, the other games, they have these like very engaged and engaging epic ongoing stories, these really big plots. It sounds like X doesn't exactly have that. So if anyone is going to be disappointed about something going in, it's just like you expect the same story that you got in the other games, but instead it's just a little bit more stripped back, but it's still very much worth playing. Again, the world, it's just a really great world to explore. I mean, it's the one with the mechs. It's really cool. if I was going to play any of them. The one with the cool mechs where you fly around, that seems pretty sick to me. But yeah, as I was saying, I it's definitely not good to get your hopes up, but you can't help but notice Nintendo, they reveal an enhanced version of Xenoblade X, the one without a lot of story, and they are advertising extra story elements. Does that mean that they might potentially try to add in some stuff to just kind of fix what some people see as really the one flaw with the game, not enough story? Do you think they might add in a little bit to support that? Or does that mean that there will be more? Maybe they just aren't ready to reveal it yet, but maybe there will be some pretty meaty extra campaign, or maybe they'll redo the campaign. Doesn't seem super duper likely, but I don't know. You technically don't know. They did so much with the other stuff. I mean, just the first one, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, that right there shocked me, because the idea of restoring content that was planned, that's something that everyone always wants from a remaster or a remake, but man, it almost never happens, does it? You look at something like Wind Waker, and it's like, oh yeah, that game was rushed out the door in a hurry, so they had to cut entire dungeons, and oh, you're gonna give us the remaster, are you gonna restore some of that content? And Nintendo is just like, no. No, there is no reality where we are going to dig into the game and basically remake it. And I understood why. They were like, because we ended up using concepts from those scrapped dungeons and using them in the rest of the game. We built the game. It's not like we had it all and then we chopped them at the last second. It affected the development of the game. So I can see why there would be, why they might hesitate to restore beta content and all that stuff. So I usually don't expect it. You really don't get it a lot. And yet they did that with the first one. They ended up just, I don't know, it's they get everything they want. You just, every situation with every game ends up being just the perfectest thing possible. And it sounds like I am angry and jealous, and I am a little jealous, but I really am genuinely happy for Xenoblade fans. So yeah, we really don't know what that means. Extra story content. It kind of could be anything. I'm always gonna be cautious. I never want to get my hopes up, but you never know. But anything would be cool. Anything to make the game better or more or whatever, is obviously gonna be welcome, and obviously the team knows what they're doing and they know how to deliver cool stuff that the fans are gonna like. It just seems to be nothing but hits, nothing but cool stuff that everybody seems to unanimously love, because they're really, really incredibly good at what they do, and Nintendo seems to let them do whatever they want. Now, I absolutely have to point out how funny it is that they just revealed it this morning. They just put it onto, it was one of those, and it's funny because we got a lot of those during 2020 when they didn't want to do any directs. And so they would just reveal games like this. They would just do it. They would just post it. They would just throw it out there. Since then, since going back to directs, they've not really done that. And we didn't get a September direct this year. So they put trailers and stuff online. Instead of getting a direct, we got these, we got the partner showcase, that kind of thing. But for the most part, updated trailers for, upcoming games, Zelda, Mario, and Luigi, and that stuff. They just throw that on Twitter. And that makes sense, though, because those are just trailers for previously announced games. But we have, to my knowledge, we've not really gotten just a pretty notable game just by itself. Not something weird, not everybody 1-2 switch or whatever, but just a game. This is just you would see this game in a Nintendo Direct. It would have a whole little reveal and everything, and it was just kind of a leftover, I guess. They didn't have anywhere else to put it, so they just kind of threw it on on Twitter and stuff. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. We thought they were done. That's what's funny. We thought they were done, you know, like, we thought that was it. Like, you've got enough Switch games. You've got enough. You've got more than enough. You don't need to announce anymore. And they're like, yeah, but we got this one. We got another one in there. We throw another game in there. And you know what? It's a Wii U game, meaning that not that many people got to play it. There probably are lots of Xenoblade fans who have picked the games up on Switch who were like, oh man, I've always wanted to play X, but I don't have a Wii U and I'm not going to buy a secondhand Wii U. I don't know. It's perfect. It's just so funny they just threw it on there. I mean, like, it's kind of weird, though. They ended up having so many things, so many trailers to put out, so many games to explore and announce and everything. I really feel like they could have just done, like, a mini. You know, that partner showcase really revealed a pretty good amount of third-party stuff. I feel like you take that, you take all of, like, the other, like, you know, new Zelda trailers and stuff, and then right here, like, an actual, like, another real game announcement. I feel like that could have been a mini or something. I don't know, heck, that could have just been a regular one. They could just be like, hey, don't expect a ton, but, like, I don't know. There was still plenty. They still gave us a lot, but they decided not to. They wanted to just kind of break everything up and throw it out there, and, you know, ultimately, who really cares? It's fun. It's fun to keep thinking that we're done, to keep thinking they can't possibly have anything else to give us. They can't possibly have any more games to put on Switch. Then they just do. Here's another one. It's coming in March. Switch 2 coming next year, and yet we already have Donkey Kong, Xenoblade X, and Metroid Prime 4. Those are all going to be on Switch next year, and it's just nuts. And, you know, we can only hope that all, if not most, major Nintendo games, first-party games, end up getting, like, you know, performance boost patches for the Switch 2 or whatever. Just something to make them run better. And if that is the case, then, like, this is going to look really... I mean, like, it looked really good on the Wii U. It's going to look really good on the Switch with further enhanced visuals. And then if you can get it running, like, super-duper smooth on Switch 2, that's going to be a good-looking game right there.